Hey, everybody, we are coming to you live from the sofa of our hotel room at the Comfort Suites in Lincoln, Nebraska. We forgot any kind of improved internet connection, and so we are huddled here on the sofa, and we are going to do our show of Brothers Trippin before the Husker game tomorrow. So buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride. We've got a fair amount to talk about with previewing the Husker game. We want to talk a little bit about the Cubs game. But before we get into that, we wanted to recognize our sponsor, Helmet Nation. They do custom helmets. You can buy all sorts of other gear for your favorite team. They a lot of ums today. That's terrible. I'm sorry. But you can order custom helmets. You can also order just your favorite team's helmets. Go to helmetnation.com. They do all sorts of stuff. If you want it for your fantasy league, if you want it for your military unit or your Boy Scout troop, I don't care what it is, they can do it. So
we are actually doing an order for Boy Scouts right now, Boy Scouts of America.
I didn't even know that, and that's how freaking awesome we are. So first, we're going to talk about our artwork up here. And, this is the Comfort Suites collection, as it's affectionately known.
I think you can order the collection online.
Yeah,
it's the sad hotel room collection.
These are load-bearing pictures, so we're not going to take those down. Otherwise, we would take them with us. I'm just kidding. All right, so first, let's talk about the Cubs. We were driving in the car from the Denver airport yesterday while watching the game in our car while driving. Did I mention we were driving while the video was going? Yeah, so Aaron, thoughts on the win?
So the first 8.5 inning or full 8 innings were amazing. And then the top of the ninth, gave me 12 more gray hairs in my beard here because the Cubs definitely like to make things close. So that home run by Fermin to start off the ninth made me nervous. And then were they second and third, or did they have bases loaded?
No, they didn't have bases loaded.
Okay, so it was second and third with one out, and they managed to get out of the game. So that was, it was fun, and most of the game it felt like they were in control, so that was way cool. It's good to see the Cubs win, in a postseason series, because it's been 8 years since they've done that. So congrats to the Cubbies. Really excited to see them play the Brewers starting tomorrow. Game starts about 2 hours, did we decide? About 2 hours for the Husker game tomorrow. So it'll probably be in about the 6th, 7th inning when the Huskers kick off, and we'll be paying attention up in the stands. So, but it should be pretty exciting, definitely. And they start in Milwaukee, correct?
Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts,
Andrew?
Yeah, it was freaking nerve-wracking for sure. Cubs left a lot of guys on base throughout the game. It felt like a lot of missed opportunities. So, when the 9th inning was happening and the Brewers or the Padres were getting guys on base after that home run, two of them got hit in a row. Yeah, that was freaking nerve-wracking, but exciting finish, and a lot to be happy about. But there's some concerns there too with the consistency offensively. It just seems to be some games they're just the bats are on fire, and other games they're just non-existent. So, it's a bit of a concern. But super excited to make it through the wild card. I honestly think they have a great shot against the Brewers to take that series.
Yeah.
They match up well with them. I would rather be playing the Brewers than probably almost any other opponent that's left in the National League, right?
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
When the Cubs played the Dodgers earlier in the season, the Dodgers had a lot of injuries, and they were fairly depleted. Who knows now what that would be like? But that's who they would play next if the Dodgers win their next series.
Be in the NL
or against the if they win their series,
it'll be the NL Championship Series, right?
Yeah.
So
they'll play either the Dodgers or the Phillies.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know which one's worse. I think the Phillies could beat the Dodgers. The Phillies are freaking good. Kyle Schwarber is just a monster.
He's just raking.
But then again, so's Ohtani. So anyway, it should be a fun time. Hopefully, it'll be a fun time and not just a stressful time. Seems like sports for us have almost become more stressful than enjoyable. And I don't know what the deal is with that, but I'm sure some of you can relate to that out there in TV land. Go ahead.
But in a positive note, your boys' 49ers won yesterday when neither of you thought they were going to win. So that was a pretty impressive win by them down in LA, if you ask me.
It didn't end in a tie, which was nice.
Right? And Mac Jones, he was battling. That dude, like some of the pictures I've seen of him today, like that guy was getting beat up, and he just kept battling. So you got to hand it to him. I was pretty impressed with the
return of the Mac
with the 49ers. So that for you guys, that's a big win. It'll be interesting to see how my Seahawks handle the Buccaneers on Sunday, because they play in Seattle, which used to be like a huge home field advantage. And in the recent
they haven't
recent year, they have not played well at home. They beat the Saints the last time at home, so they're 1-1 at home so far this year. They lost to the Niners and they beat the Saints. But I don't know if I really count the Saints as. But maybe it was enough to put them on the right footing. We'll see.
So the good news is the Niners. If you're a Niners fan, the Niners have already beaten the Seahawks and already beaten the Rams.
Yes, and the Cardinals. They've so far won all three. Their first three matchups in the NFC West. If you're a Niners fan, they're sitting in the catbird seat at the moment. So
you do like the catbird seat. Is that what you said? I've never heard that.
Isn't that a phrase?
I don't know. You used mollywop like 2 weeks ago, and I had never heard that one either.
I think he's going to try and work it in today too. But
there's a good chance.
Now you work.
There's a good chance. Excellent. All right. So exciting stuff too that's coming up with the Cubs. 49ers, who the crap knows what's going to happen, because everybody on the team is hurt
still.
But before we get on to the Husker game, let's just have a word from our sponsor. Helmet Nation they make custom helmets and other fun memorabilia, other gift ideas based on your favorite team. Checkers, knockoff Jenga. We actually saw some of these today while we were walking around Lincoln. So they're out there.
Some puzzles, tabletop. We'll be adding tabletop. What's it called?
The cornhole.
Yeah, we'll be adding tabletop.
The tabletop version is called Niblet Hole. That's one of my best.
We'll be adding that, but we do have the puzzle. We have puzzles, a lot of great looking ones of those. So if you like to, sit and, give you something to focus on, you turn a game on, do a puzzle with your partner or your parent or something. If your dad's a huge fan of a team,
puzzler.
And a puzzle. You can get him that for Christmas, and then you guys can spend quality time together putting it together. So
Perfect.
Bringing families together. That's Helmet Nation.
That is Helmet Nation. That's been your slogan for years.
It is, yeah.
Bringing families together.
Bringing families together, exactly.
Yep, exactly. So go to helmetnation.com. Check out what they can do. If you've got a logo or a company or an event, whatever that you want to put on something to tchotchke to give away to people coming, we can do it. So, and when I say we, I mean him. All right. So the whole reason we're here in Lincoln is not just for the runs up. It's also the Valentino's Pizza.
Yes.
And Valentino's, if you would like to sponsor this show, we are taking calls. My number is, just kidding. We're here for the Nebraska-Michigan State game. That is why we flew Aaron flew most of the country to get to Denver, which is still like 400 miles away from Lincoln. We flew into we flew into Denver. We met there and drove. We always have some sort of drive in these Brothers trips, because that's where like the meat and potatoes of the bonding occurs, is during that drive. And so we are now here in Lincoln. We're excited to go to the game tomorrow. Weather conditions. Andrew, what do you remember about the weather conditions? What's it supposed to be like tomorrow?
Sounds like it's going to be a bit breezy, 30 to 40 miles an hour potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you think that could affect the game? Like, what's your thoughts on what'll happen?
Logic would dictate, obviously, that both teams are going to run the ball a little bit more than they might normally do. Michigan State might try and run it a lot more, but it also might just change the passing game, and you might have to just see a lot more short routes, maybe more screen plays. I don't know. Maybe just condense the passing game a little bit, but we'll see. Maybe not. I mean,
you never know.
Do we know?
I will say Raiola can't be tossing up those lob passes in 30-mile-an-hour winds. That's probably not going to go over well.
Yeah, those dang end zone fades that we hate so much.
So
that's not going to be a great. That may not.
He can rip it though. He can rip it
really
hard, and that's just maybe this will force him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm curious. If we I don't know if I don't remember anything specific about how Memorial Stadium is on the field when it's windy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what how the stadium affects that. So if it's 30 to 40 miles an hour, does the stadium deaden that, or does it get worse because it swirls? I actually don't remember.
Yeah.
Because high winds is not something like we've been here during a game where it rained. We were here when we were much younger during a game that it was negative 11 degrees outside. That was cold.
Well, we've actually got the Husker Memorial Stadium engineer on the line to tell us about these conditions. Hey, Earl, what do you think is going to happen in the state? Hello? We lost him. So I don't know.
He's probably working on
the field.
Improving our internet
weatherproofing the
connection.
stadium.
If we could work on our internet connection, that would be fantastic.
Phenomenal, right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Either way, I hope Nebraska just crushes Michigan State. I just want domination once again.
I want that Wisconsin feeling from last year.
Yeah. So I mean, why wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah. Right.
So we'll see. We'll see how that affects the game. I think a lot of people think that Michigan State's going to focus more on running it. I think people are nervous about Nebraska's run defense and being able to stop Childs in the run game. So who knows? Hopefully they made some progress in the bye week and figured out ways to address some of those concerns that existed from the Michigan game. What's your overall take, Aaron?
I mean, I find it interesting that everybody's like worried about Michigan State's running game. I haven't really felt like Michigan State's been a team that could run the ball that well since Kenny Walker left. And so it's been a few years. And I know that their best offensive lineman is out injured for this game. So they're already going to be down to a second team guy there. I don't know. When I think of Michigan State, I don't necessarily think of a team that runs the ball at, say, a Michigan level, like like that kind of a run game. So, and I don't think Michigan State just doesn't strike me as a physical team. And so, I don't know. I'm not too worried about that. I think the key is basically keeping Childs bottled up like that. To me, he's pretty much what they have. So if we can just keep him bottled up, I don't think this will be, because I think offensively, like Michigan State's defense, I think is just ripe for us getting after them. Like even if it ends up being short passes and stuff, I don't really think their secondary is that good. And I feel like Raiola's been on top of his game this season, and so I think he can kind of shred these guys a little bit, even if it's short passing game stuff. And we've seen there's been a huge discussion about the number 2 running back and stuff, and we've seen all 3 of the guys who Quentin Ives, Mosey, and Mackay, and we've seen all 3 of them do well catching the ball out of the backfield, and so we get them into space in a situation like this where we're throwing to them out of the backfield, or we're throwing little hook routes while they're in the slot. Something like that, like all these guys can handle it once they have the ball in their hands. I think there's been more question about them, behind Emmett. I think there's been more question about them taking a handoff from 7-8 yards deep, and or getting the zone read handoff and then making a move there versus them already being out in space when they catch the ball. So the wind might actually make this a game where we get some breakout from all those guys.
Do you think we will end up getting second most carries?
So it sounds, the stuff that we've heard, from Holgerson and stuff this week, it sounds to me like it's almost going to be a little bit of a surprise. So I feel like Quentin Ives might be that guy because he had the fewest touches in the Michigan game, did he not? Out of the guys?
I can't remember.
So I feel like he would be the most surprising. Mackay, as I understand it, because I haven't been at practice, they haven't invited me, and I've been disappointed by that.
Sure. Repeated calls.
Right. Mackay sounds like he's the most natural runner. I don't know that I've seen enough of him to know, out of the others, or all of them, who's the most natural. But that's what I've heard from our buddies, DB and Ravi and stuff. So
our good pals.
Yeah,
our
good
definitely
friends.
Do hang out with
all the time.
Even though we had to travel here for this game from out of state.
They're where we get a lot of our information, being as far out of the state as we are.
One thing that I thought was interesting, and I had never really thought of this or put it together, was I think it was Sam McEwen in an interview last week was saying to them that he is. Maybe it wasn't Sam McEwen. If it's not, I'm sorry. I should have checked my sources here. But they were talking about how Jonathan Smith is running like large elements of the Mike Riley offense. That's who he played under. Yeah, pro style. Yeah. And like there are some wrinkles in it that like Mike Riley's offense that are really quite good, but for whatever reason just didn't have the people to pull it off or whatever. I don't know. I try not to think of anything coming from the Mike Riley area.
Riley and Frost, there's a black hole of history there. Yes,
that's like when the boss or like a potential boss is interviewing you and they say, we noticed this 4-year gap. That's the Riley era.
That's the
Scott Frost era.
Yeah. We noticed this 8-year gap in your football history.
Mm-hmm. And you just go, uh-huh.
Yes.
And you leave it at that. Did I ever tell you guys, one time we were at Disneyland and I came out of the bathroom at Disneyland and Mike Riley was standing right there.
You've told me that story.
What?
Yeah.
Yes, Mike Riley was right there and he just kind of like, we make eye contact and I just kind of go, hey, and moved on.
Was this after he'd been fired by the Huskers?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
It was probably the day before. He was already in Disneyland.
He was like,
he misunderstood the whole, like, what are you doing next?
It's crazy.
You've been fired from Nebraska. I'm going to Disneyland.
It's crazy how many people.
Seriously?
What? I don't remember.
I was sick to my stomach.
Yeah, I was too.
Not Nebraska people. National.
Everybody.
Everybody
else that Nebraska was going to play.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, it was all the same crap. He's done more with less at Oregon State. Well, he did less with more at Nebraska, so that's not great.
And then Scott Frost said, hold my beer when he came in and went even worse.
We love you both, really. Once we win another national championship, all will be forgiven and no grudge will be held, I don't think. There might still be a minor grudge.
Maybe.
I don't know about grudge.
Okay.
So we won one in 70, right? And then the next one was, then we won 71, but then we went and it was 94, right? So that was what,
3 years.
20. So we're a little overdue.
We're basically
a little overdue.
We're like the Cubs at this point. We're due.
Yes.
Or the Cubs back in 2016.
Yes.
Maybe this year we are the 2016
But
Cubs.
We don't need to go and rival the Cubs' like, what was it, 1908 or
19 years?
Whatever it was. Yeah. So it was 1908. We don't need to go that long.
No, we don't need to go another 180 years.
I'm good with that. Like,
for
we
either
can do
team.
one sooner. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see the Cubs win another one soon, too. So, listen, I'm not as greedy as Patriots fans who need one like every 3 years in order to feel satisfied. What do you mean the Patriots winning?
Yeah. Or North Carolina, for that matter, winning a national title. I don't think all right. Well, so does this wrap it up? Are we? Is there anything that I'm missing?
Predictions? Or you guys?
Oh yeah,
we definitely should.
That was actually my question originally.
My bad. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize.
I forgot the prediction part.
So my prediction. All right, I'm going to step out. I mean, we did the prediction show back in the summer, and I said they're going to go, 12-1 or 11-1, and so
we're already at the one.
We're already at the one. But I am going to say I truly believe that Nebraska's just going to have more talent on the field. I think this is a different team. I think that Rule is changing the mentality. I think that they're going to be – this team's just going to be different than other teams we've had. So I don't think Michigan is going to beat them twice is what I'm saying. And so I think we get the game tomorrow. I think the Huskers are going to score 38, and I will give Michigan State 17.
I had a feeling you were going to say
38-17 is where I'm going to go. What about you?
Quite as high on the points, so I'm going to go 35, and I'm going to go 14, 35-14. I think Nebraska's D-line gets after Childs. I think they bring pressure with and without the blitz, and find a way to contain him for most of the game. So 35-14.
Excellent.
Josh, what do you got?
I feel slightly less confident in Nebraska's ability to just own the game against a decent quality opponent, even though Michigan State's not ranked. They're still middle of the pack Big Ten. So until they can own the middle of the pack Big Ten, the Minnesotas, the Michigan States, the whoever's,
You mean their schedule in October?
Correct.
The Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I am going to go 24-21.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow. Is that going to be like a walk-off field goal? Is that going to be like a field goal with 6 minutes left and we hang on?
I don't freaking know. All I know is that I'm trying to still keep my expectations low and just not get too disappointed if things don't go as fantastic as I want them to go. And so I'm mentally preparing myself now I realize that that's kind of weak sauce, extremely weak sauce.
After all the mental trauma that Husker fans have been through in the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's okay to.
I think it's definitely okay to not I just naturally sort of drink the Kool-Aid, so it's totally okay if you don't.
Well, I'm kind of going opposite field with Michigan State being able to hang with a better than average Nebraska team, because I don't think they really. I mean, they did play USC okay, but USC has no defense whatsoever to speak of. So
I'm not really. I mean, I felt like
doesn't
USC
have
dominated
the most sacks of any team in the country or something like that? Don't they have some crazy stat like that?
Am I thinking of a different game? What was the final score of that game?
It was a 14-point win, and it wasn't. It didn't feel that close. Like at the end of it, at least it didn't to me. I felt
Michigan State beaten anybody of any consequence?
They beat Boston College in overtime.
You mean this year?
Yes,
this year.
I don't believe so.
Who just beat Wisconsin? Was that Maryland?
Everybody.
That was Maryland. That was Maryland.
Let's see here.
So yeah, you're right.
Let's look it up.
Really beaten anybody.
So
any consequence.
They beat Western Michigan 23-6 at home. They beat Boston College in double overtime 42-40. That was at home. They beat Youngstown State 41-24. So Youngstown State, an FCS school, scored 24 points against them at home.
Pelini's still coaching them?
No.
Just kidding.
And then USC beat them 45-31.
Okay.
So it was a 14-point
victory.
Scored
31 points against USC. I mean, USC's defense is not great, but they're not like the bottom of the barrel either. Anyway.
I mean, no Nebraska fan would complain about a 45-31 victory.
No. If it's 45-31, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm good.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. But I just don't think
31
Michigan
feels
State's,
like a lot of points.
It does.
Yeah.
It's too many.
What is
I don't think that's
let's see
gonna
here.
happen.
The over-under in this game is 49.5.
Wow.
And Nebraska is giving 12.5 points. So they are favored by 12.5. That's wild to me. That's almost 2 touchdowns.
Vegas
thinks that Nebraska's
going to win about what we predicted.
About what about what we're saying.
521 would be.
He thinks they cover
53-point total. And he says 49.5.
Yeah.
So 31-20,
31-17. Would be
31-17
would be 45, so that would be a little under the
31-17 would be 48 points.
Are you guys taking the over or the under, total points wise?
Nebraska doesn't really hit the over.
Definitely doesn't feel like they do lately.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to go under. Actually, like I said, I think Nebraska's defense is actually going to show out pretty good tomorrow.
Yeah, I certainly hope so.
I mean, McCullough is a beast off the edge. I mean, I do think, for the most part, I think our D-line.
Childs has 868 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. Viola has 1,137 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Michigan State's running back Frazier has 267 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 57 attempts. Emmett Johnson has 391 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 71 attempts. Receiving, Ja'Cory Barney from Nebraska's got 301 yards, 3 touchdowns, 21 catches, and somebody named O'Kelly for Michigan State has 317 yards, 1 touchdown, 21 receptions as well.
So their best receiver, Nick Marsh, has been out a lot of the season, I think.
And we're expecting him back.
He's back 100%. So.
Okay. So that could be interesting.
All right. Well, any last thoughts?
Not that it's on topic, but just curious if you guys had any thoughts on Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt facing Alabama, since that was a fun upset last year, and Diego Pavia loves talking trash.
They're playing in Bama this year, right?
Yes, they're playing in Tuscaloosa.
I think Bama is going to be on a headhunting trip. I think they are going to want to destroy him for his insolence last year and for him running his mouth. And so it would not surprise me at all if they get to him early and often.
What's Vegas?
We'll see.
Do we know what the line is?
We'll see.
We can find it.
There is something
what is your thought, Andrew?
So brash about that kid. I almost think he can pull it off again. You know what he has in him? He's got who's the last kid to beat Bama 2 years in a row?
It was the money.
Yes. They share the same
Menzel
confidence, and I'm going to say arrogance. Now, Vandy has nowhere near the talent of that Texas A&M team.
Them is an 11.5-point favorite, and the total
Wow.
is 56.5.
11.5 points. I mean, I would definitely take the points, but this could be an absolute walloping on Vandy. They might just take him out behind the woodshed, like Josh said, and teach the little guy a lesson.
He's just a little guy.
But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't. There's just something in me that says Vandy's going to keep it close somehow. I don't know. I haven't watched a single Vandy game. I've watched a couple Bama games.
And they haven't played anybody this year.
They beat South Carolina.
And that was on the
top
road.
25, and they've got an NFL quarterback, and it was on the road, so that's not a bad win. I'll probably just take the points. I'd probably say Bama's still going to win, but I'd probably take the points.
Fair enough. I was just curious, guys. That game's the one big one tomorrow. I mean, Florida State, Miami's tomorrow, but I couldn't care less, to be honest.
I think people will be watching just because it's Tony White.
Well, Husker people, yeah. Could be.
Yeah, Florida State just got spanked last week.
So don't forget to go to Helmet Nation. If you're looking for Christmas gifts, if you're looking for gifts to reward your seniors at the end of your season, especially if you are one of those NCAA teams like an FCS, Division II, Division III team, or an NAIA team, and you're looking to take care of your seniors, and Rydell doesn't make your helmets and stuff, come to us. We'll get them done for you. You can give them to your seniors. High school, you can do that. Youth leagues, give them to your players. The kids love them. You give them a Sharpie. They get to sign. Let them sign each other's helmets. They get to feel like they're grown-ups. And then they create this little memento of who they played with that year for the youth teams. And it's something that they'll keep with them and put on their desk when they're 30 and relive their glory days playing, Mighty Might football. So in any case, hit us up at Helmet Nation. We do have all the new products that we've added on there, and we'll get you taken care of.
All right. Well, so that's another episode of Brothers Trippin. This is the pregame edition. We'll try and check in with you tomorrow. We'll either be elated or talking each other
Or
off
we'll be like this.
We'll be sitting in the same place.
There's a good chance. Yeah. Maybe we'll try and switch out some of the decor, but we'll try and catch you tomorrow on a post-game show. Until then, go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
See you guys.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Brothers Trippin. This is the post-game edition of our Brothers Trippin trip. I'm Josh. This is Aaron. That's Andrew over there.
What's up?
Let's delve right into it. Nebraska played Michigan State today. Before we get into the game analytics, Aaron has a message from our sponsor.
Don't forget to do your shopping at Helmet Nation. For 18 years, we've been the best in the business for your custom helmets, and we carry all your NCAA, NFL helmets that are available and being made out there. But if you want custom helmets, we have those as well. And we've also added a bunch of other products, puzzles, checkers, tabletop, cornhole, thank you. And others. There's other stuff as well, and there's more coming. So if you're looking for a gift for somebody in the family and it may not be a helmet, we have, a lot of great other products as well. So check us out at helmetnation.com.
Excellent. All right. So it was homecoming weekend in Nebraska. Again, we are coming to you almost live from the Comfort Suites on Industrial in Lincoln. It was a heck of a game today. They came away with the W. That's all that really matters. But it was a little stressful at times, if I'm not lying. So, first question, Andrew, thoughts on the game?
It was like watching almost like three different games. Nebraska started off with tons of energy. Defense did great, shut them down the first couple drives, and we scored right off the bat. And then special teams scored on an awesome blocked punt, run back for a touchdown. So it was just like 14-0. Before you could even blink an eye, and then everything changed, and that lasted for like
almost 2.5 quarters, yeah.
And then that same Nebraska team returned, and I mean they did some really good things in between, but they didn't score at all. So yeah, it was almost just like most of the first quarter was one game, and then 2.5 quarters was like this totally different team, and then the fourth quarter was like that original Husker team was back on the field. It was just this really big roller coaster ride today. But I mean, yeah, ended up winning by 11. Yeah, and it could have been a lot more.
Yeah, final score was
38-27.
Yep.
Yes. For a while there, the score actually was 24-21, and I thought, oh my gosh, my prediction is going to come true, even though I did not want that to be the case, because that would have meant a 3-point win. I think it was you, Aaron, wasn't it, that came up with the closest prediction? 38-20, because you said
38-17.
17, yeah.
He said 35-20.
Wasn't for that
or 35-14.
Yeah.
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 And if it weren't for that last garbage time touchdown,
Yeah.
I probably would have been closest. I don't know if any of us were that close given
Well, you had
given
the
the actual
38,
thing.
right?
Yeah, I got that.
So anyway, Aaron, your thoughts on the game?
So, I mean, like Andrew talked about, it did feel like 3 different games. The biggest thing that I took away from it, I think, is this is a game that the team would have lost in the last 10 years. I truly feel, and honestly, I will admit, I'll be the first one. I said it to Josh in the middle, like when the score went from being 14-0 and over the course of time into the third quarter, it became 21-14 Michigan State. At that point in time, there was no momentum. There were tons of mistakes being made. The offense had been in reverse for most of those 2 quarters. And I just told Josh, I said, I don't think they're coming back. I think they're cooked. So for the team to actually find the stones to turn it around and, like basically in about the last 16, 17 minutes of the game for them to score 24 points and just take total control of the game and everything else was awesome. I love the special teams today. I thought special teams was killing it. The call, Coach Rule in his post game said, the call for the fake on 4th down was his call. Excuse me. And
he gets a little emotional. We're sorry.
But that was his call. I didn't love the actual. I didn't mind going for it, but I didn't love the actual play call out of the fake. So I'm not even going to really put that one on the special teams or Coach Eckler. And I loved seeing the energy. Jameer Khan with the block on Michigan State's second possession was incredible. He absolutely just annihilated that punter and blocked it, and then Carter Nelson picked it up and took it back for a touchdown. So that was awesome, and it really felt good. And I think that's the next step at some point the team needs to take, is that when we get a 14-point lead and we have all the momentum, we need to learn how to just keep that. The team needs to learn how to just, instead of, it was a long drive. I don't know how many plays, but it felt like, probably 12 or so for Michigan State on the next drive.
There were 2 penalties that kept the drive
alive. Yeah, certainly. And it was there were a couple of times where I thought the officiating, especially early on, was pretty poor. I felt like maybe as the game went on, it wasn't as bad later in the game, but early on, I was a little disappointed with the officiating. But the in any case, the the fact that they hadn't been doing anything, and then they were able to change that around and find that momentum and put the game away in the fourth quarter was pretty awesome. So I was excited about that, and they got things to work on for sure. Next up is Maryland, and we're keeping tabs on that game. Maryland had a 20-0 lead and ended up losing 24-20 to Washington, who came all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast to play that game. So that'll be interesting to see how Maryland reacts to that, because that team is pretty young as well. Especially their quarterback. So we'll see, moving forward. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought overall there was some really, it's weird because the offense disappeared, right, for more than half the game, and yet Michigan State had only scored 7 points and through the first half, which is pretty incredible. They scored 31 points against USC last 2 weeks ago, and so it's weird to think about how we're stressing out about how bad Nebraska looked like they were playing. And there were times when if you looked at the sideline, it was totally dead. Mm-hmm. And you had some of the strength and conditioning crew running down the line, popping guys in the chest, trying to keep them psyched into the game. It seemed like in the post-game presser, it never really sounded like that. I mean, those guys talk about, they were still in it, but it's weird to have this sort of juxtaposition where the team just seems like they're disappeared, and yet Michigan State only had 7 points. The defense in a lot of ways really did show up
today. They 2 interceptions, both by Deshaun Singleton. I think they had 4 sacks and 12 tackles for loss. Like that's pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
Michigan State only had, I think, 260 yards of total offense or something like that.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's weird because overall that's really hard to complain about any of that kind of stuff. And yet, it feels like if Nebraska, we were talking about this earlier, if they even had like an average offense throughout the whole game, Nebraska could have hung 50 on them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was anyway, so it was kind of a bizarre game in that sense. I'm not sure what really is going into all of that, but definitely loved seeing the special teams show up in a huge way today. They had one that was run back for a touchdown, and that got called back on kind of what seemed like a bit of a ticky-tack call. The one drive where Michigan State scored early in the game, or not early, but their first touchdown, like we were saying, that drive got kept alive by, I think, 2 fourth-down penalties and moved them down to the 2 freaking yard line.
Yeah.
And that PI call was pretty bad as well, but whatever. It is what it is. Childs was under pressure a lot. He got injured early in the game, and maybe that had something to do with some of his struggles throughout the rest of the game, but the dude could not have hit the ocean if he was in a boat with his passing. His passing was terrible today. So glad for that, because when the backup came in at the end there, Rule talked about this in his presser that, he was pretty disappointed they gave up that late touchdown to Michigan State. But that quarterback also was like, he had much better touch in his passing than Childs did on that last drive.
6 of 7 for 71 yards.
Yeah, they marched right down the field. So that was pretty rough. But anyway, we're not going to take too long because it's late and we got to get on the road early in the morning. So I wanted to finish up with this last question. How are you guys feeling about your original predictions for their record over the season? Andrew, your thoughts?
So I think I picked 8 to 9 wins. I still feel really good about that. I mean, really, what's interesting is that nobody thought Maryland would really be any good this year. We really don't know if they're that good. They're really still kind of unknown. They could be better than advertised. They might be average. So that's interesting. But, then Penn State gets, curb stomped today a little bit by UCLA, which is just
shocking.
Crazy. So they've lost 2 in a row. USC, that's probably going to be a shootout. Yeah, I definitely think, I actually think kind of 8 wins might kind of be on the low side. I mean, I really feel pretty good about that. Even if they drop 1 in October, they'll still they'd be 7-2.
6-2 leaving October at that point.
6-2. So yeah, I'm still feeling like really good about at least 8 wins. I'm probably leaning closer to 9.
Aaron, you had a pretty bold prediction at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think I predicted that they'd be 11-1. A couple of quick notes. There were some major upsets today in college football with UCLA upsetting Penn State in California. That game was kind of crazy. Puts some perspective on the Big Ten. So I'm kind of, in a way, I'm answering my question in that I think that kind of changes things up a little bit. And then secondly, Texas lost, just of note. And just because we all were horribly disappointed, the Cubs got absolutely rocked in the first inning and lost 9-3. So that's fun. And I guess they're back at it tomorrow. Is that correct? Monday? Okay, so the Cubs are back at game 2 on Monday. Got to figure out something between now and then because they look like garbage today against the Brewers. As far as how I feel, I was definitely 11-1. I still feel pretty confident about 10-2, and then the minimum I think would be 9-3. It's really going to depend. It's going to depend on this month, if you ask me. If we make it through this month, and going on the road to Maryland, if we can get that game, then going on the road and playing Minnesota on a Friday night, the next game, basically 2 weeks from yesterday, and they can get that game, then Northwestern will finish out the month of October. They should be 7-1 going in to play USC at home. USC, I think, has some great athletes. I think they can do some things, but if Nebraska's 7-1 at that point in time, I don't feel like Nebraska should automatically lose that game. So I think they should have a shot at it. And then you've got the road game at UCLA, which even despite today's outcome of them beating Penn State, you'd better beat UCLA. I think Penn State let Oregon beat them twice today. That's my guess. And then you have Penn State on the road. after UCLA. Obviously, they can be beat. They can be beat at home and they can be beat on the road, apparently. So we'll have to see how Penn State responds. So, I mean, I think it's all still out there. I mean, I don't think it's that crazy to think that they could actually finish 11-1, but it's definitely 9-3 to 11-1 in my mind. I feel like that's where this team should be at the end of the season.
Good. Yeah. I'm kind of sticking with my original, I think, with about eight wins, I think is what I thought too, 8 or 9. I just think, like, to me, and I know nothing about X's and O's, right? I just kind of am going off of what I see on the field, but I just think there are still quite a few struggles, old lingering struggles on the offensive line. I feel like that's why they're having a bit of a hard time running the ball. I love our running backs, and I think that they run with a lot of heart and they run with a lot of toughness. But they do miss holes, here and there. But I don't know what it is. Like, we just don't have the road grader offensive line that and we haven't had that for years now. And that I think is a real concern. Martinez was under pressure a lot. Did I say Martinez? I'm sorry. I meant
flashback to
Raiola.
Yeah, Raiola. I was watching the commercial out of the corner of my eye. That was really weird. But yeah, Raiola was under pressure a lot today, and he took a number of sacks that they're just, I don't know, it just seems like, where was the offensive line with some of this blocking? There's other things that go into that. I know there are, but I don't know. Some of that stuff just needs to get figured out, and it just never really fully seems to get figured out. And so I think for them to be where they want to be, that stuff's got to get figured out. But I was thrilled that they came out of it with the win today. It was fun to be there. It's such a fun atmosphere. The tunnel walk at the beginning and just all of just everything. The crowd goes nuts. And when that friggin' punt got blocked, man, that was just like the stadium.
That wasn't just a block
crowd. He annihilated that.
Swallowed that punter up.
Yeah. It was freaking sweet. It's fun because where we were sitting was pretty decent view overall in the sense of, like, we were just a little bit higher up. We weren't so far that, like, we were starting to get lightheaded, but it was fun to be able to see things from clearly, like, you could see when guys were coming open, and you can't always see that right away on TV. You know what I mean? And so it's just fun being able, because there was also, like, on that first drive, I remember, I think it was the tight end on one of those passes where it was like, he's white. You could see it happening. He was so open, and if Raiola had thrown it, it would have been a touchdown for sure. But he still got a first down anyway. Whatever. It's fun being able to see the whole thing that you can't see on TV, and it's one of the things of, I guess, living here that people probably take for granted. Anyway. Great win. We're glad that they got to win. Like Aaron said, I think that would have been a loss in previous years. So let's just hope they just keep it rolling. Hope they keep improving and prove me wrong with that overall record. Awesome. You want to give us one last word from the sponsor?
Yeah, so just don't forget to check out Helmet Nation. Come to the website. Everything's on there. You can find the new stuff that we've got on there under its own heading on the main page. Like I said, the idea has been to kind of honor, the fact that it's Helmet Nation and it's all about helmets and everything by sticking with, keeping these sports themed, products available for NFL, NCAA teams. We will eventually be adding Major League Baseball products as well. So you'll be able to get a lot of the same products for your favorite MLB team. So yeah, we're excited about that. We have the holidays coming up, so make sure that you're taking care of your significant other or somebody close to you, getting them those items. And we have the new NFL Rivalries helmets. Those are all out and available. The SpeedFlex MIDI helmet that Rydell just released is available, and they will likely not be doing another run of those, so you want to get it now. And the new Salute to Service 4 helmets are also out. We will be adding those to the website shortly. So it's all available for you. Make sure you hit helmetnation.com.
Awesome. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been another episode, our post-game episode of Brothers Trippin', and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.
Yes.